Hello everyone, this is Bryant with AmusementSource.media, and we have a very special video for you today. We were invited out by SeaWorld San Antonio to check out their brand new Catapult Falls log ride attraction. Now, this thing has a few records to its name, which we'll get into as the video goes along, but you've got a launched section, you've got an elevator lift, a lot of really unique, awesome elements to this ride, and the theming is really, really cool. And we'll actually kind of give you a full tour of the queue line and show you all of the little hidden gems that they have going on here. If you're from Texas, I think a lot of it's going to resonate with you really well. And I really love how they've kind of tied everything together. Of course, on top of checking out the queue, we'll also talk about the ride experience. We'll get a POV. We'll do like a reverse POV so you can see our experience on the ride. And we'll talk about accessibility and the quick queue for the ride. We'll also talk about the lockers and all of that for those of you who may be interested. So sit back and enjoy this look at Catapult Falls here at SeaWorld San Antonio. Let's take a tour of the queue area. So right when you walk into this entry plaza, you're greeted by this splashdown zone right here. You can see how wet the concrete is there. But to actually enter the ride, you'll go to the right. They give you an idea of what you can find. There's a lot of good amenities over here, such as the ride photos and the lockers. And we'll talk about the lockers a little bit. But this is very nature themed. So you come up to this first sign and you have the Catapult Falls trailhead, and it gives you a little bit of a layout of the areas they have here. And of course the queue is themed too, and we'll get into that. But there is a layout of the ride, about 5 minutes long. You come over here and you're introduced to a really nice mural on this building. I do believe this is probably a test seat. And of course you have your lockers, which SeaWorld is exceptionally good with. Let's see. Don't know if these are active yet. Does not look like it. But essentially you can buy a one-time locker, or you can buy a locker that you can transfer from ride to ride. This will give you a little bit of an idea of the size of the lockers. Pretty much your standard ride locker, but these are very inexpensive and a great way to make sure you don't lose your stuff while you're riding. So right here you've got the ride entrance, or you can go to quick queue or the ADA ride entrance, which we will talk about here in a minute. There are lots of educational posters throughout the queue. Feel free to pause on some of these, but here you can learn about rivers, and they talk specifically about the San Antonio River beginning its journey in a cluster of springs in Midtown San Antonio. This ride is very themed to the area. You have your Catapult Falls, just general ride information and regulations. So here are your height requirements. You've got to be over 42 inches to ride, and anyone between 42 and 48 inches must ride with a companion. So 48 inches is the height to ride alone, and they do have a maximum height of 77 inches, which is what, like 6 feet 8, so it's pretty forgiving. Now you run into more of these posters here. You can see this one is the Springs #1, and it shows you where the San Antonio River begins its journey as we continue down this winding pathway, which has lots of trees, which is good, nice and shaded. You've got the city. So it shows you how the San Antonio River flows through the heart of San Antonio. And then of course they built the city around it. As we continue, we hit the rural areas that the San Antonio River goes through, #3. So, you know, the river are essential for rural communities because they provide water and habitat for species, which helps control pests, pollinate crops, all that stuff. And then you get to your base camps. You can see there, signified by the trail. Got a classic, if the rock is this, that's what the weather is. Good news is I think you'll know before you get over here what the weather's doing. As we head into base camp 1, you run into this Q house here. Now the cool thing about these Q houses is they have small little themed elements. You've got the fun rocks going along the side. We have these, what I would say are like maybe wind chimes of some sort. And then all along the top are fishing reels, right? Because we're going camping, we're going on an adventure here. Of course, this is all shaded and it'll have fans running. Now, as you leave base camp 1, you start getting a really nice view of the ride, and you run into base camp 2. Heading into base camp 2, you have another covered queue area with fans, which will be great in the summer. And in this base camp, we are focusing on canoeing and rafting, it looks like. You've got fun little canoe and rafting pieces up here. The ride shoots right past this base camp 2, which is pretty wild, and more kind of little Easter eggs in the queue as you go along. Looks like someone has their map. And of course, you got to have a good can of tuna to, you know, to go along with your base camp. Now, as we head this way, you get a phenomenal view of the ride, especially this last drop. As we head out of base camp 2, you get a scenic overlook spot, which I tell you what, that's one heck of a scenic overlook. You've got the elevator lift there. We got a boat about to go up it, so we'll wait here for a second. And you get an amazing view of these boats just careening down this big drop right here. It wastes no time getting off that elevator lift either. It's a very quick process. Here it comes. And on the opposite side of the bridge, you can see the rest, or I should say the second part of the bunny hill, popping up over there into the final splashdown. So really good spot for cameras. As we head up this way, you run into this really cool signage right here. Now I want to point out something really nice about this. You can see there's a hiker there with the initials GRH. This is actually an employee that is no longer here with us, but they wanted to pay homage to him. It's very nice. And just overall a really cool piece of art. As we head up the stairs, you get another really good look at the ride. You can see some folks over there enjoying the calmer part of the ride. Great view of the mural and a great view of the splashdown over here, the first splashdown after the launch. We're gonna keep heading this way, so we've got one more base camp to look at. As we head down, of course, you get this second little kind of bunny hill that takes you into that final splashdown. You get a really good look at that. Such a photogenic ride from the queue. And of course, we have made our way to base camp 3, which is your final queue house before you get to the station. Base camp 3 is a lot like the others, where you've got pieces of decor. There are today's temperatures. It's actually hotter than that right now, and it's February, which is crazy. But you've got more decorations going along the top, all kinds of buoys. And then as you exit base camp 3, you head into the station. You come up on this bridge here, get a really good view of Steel Eel. I definitely don't want to denounce that, because look at that thing. Yeah, you head right in to some more shade into the station. Made our way into the station. You've got the operator panel up here, and you can see the boats are traveling on a continually moving belt, which should really help with capacity. They do have 11 boats, each holding 8 riders apiece. And you just head down this way to make your way onto the ride. Now we're gonna kind of backtrack the exit so that we can show you some of the ADA and the quick queue, all of that, how you would access that if you need one of those things or purchased one of those things. They do have some safety instructions here, kind of your standard safety instructions that you can expect. And I did want to point out, for anyone who needs a little extra help getting in, if you're differently abled, they do have kind of a transfer down system right here to get you into that boat. We have ventured back over by the lockers. So we already showed you the ride entrance and the exit. We just wanted to show you the ADA entrance and quick queue entrance. Of course, with this being an ADA entrance, it is all flat ground. There is no, you know, stairs or anything. It does get a little bit rampy over here, but nothing too crazy. And I love these signs that give you kind of an idea of what's going on measurement-wise, how to get to all the base camps. But we'll keep moving, and of course, to access this ADA area, you are going up the exit. You do end up in this third base camp over here. As you come out of base camp 3, you do get your own cool view of the scenic overlook with the drop. And you come down another couple minor rampways here. Right on down. Another great view of the ride right there. It is a little bit of a journey, but that's expected, I think, with a queue line that is this big. So if you have a quick queue, you will go up these stairs right here and lead your way into the station where we were at on the other side, on the loading side. If you are working on getting that ADA access, you'll come up this rampway here, up to the exit of the ride. They do have this laid out really nice on the floor to show you where ADA needs to go. So exit right here, ADA to the left, and we showed you earlier, they do have the transition seat if you need a little bit of help getting down into the ride unit. All right, folks, I have no shame. I am not joining the wet shoe club today. Brought my Crocs because you never know what might happen on these crazy new water rides. All right, folks, we are here on the all-new Catapult Falls. We are leaving the station, and you kind of just mosey right out of the station. It's a very calming ride for now, but I have a feeling things are going to change once we get rolling through here. There's a lot of really cool themed elements all around the ride. Right here, I don't know if you might be able to see it in the video a little bit, but we've got like a really cool Catapult Falls welcome sign, and I love the art. I think you might, you're not really going to see it in this video, but you'll see it off ride. You actually go under the first little launched part right here, and they've got all kinds of little themed elements as you come through here. So we've got a sign that says Alamo Geyser, and over here on our right we've got the Catapult Falls campground, which is just little themed elements. Now, you heard me say the word geyser. Here's the thing. They have these geysers down here, and when they shoot off water, it's randomized. When they shoot off water, it's crazy. The water goes everywhere. So if you get caught by one of those, you're gonna be soaked. So now we're going past Geyser Gulch. We got another little campground here. Warning, geysers erupt at random intervals. That's what we got to worry about here. It just went off, so I think we're gonna be safe as we go past it. You may have heard it, I don't know. Okay, so as we said before, this is the world's first launched Flume attraction. We're coming right up on the launch belt here, and this is going to be interesting. So far the ride's been really tame, it's been really calm. Ooh, but I think that's about to change. Okay, all right, we're starting off. Oh, there we go. Woo! Oh, hit right in the face with water. Okay, and first splashdown. Woo! Cold, it's cold, y'all. Very refreshing. Got a nice misting, if you want to call it that. The launch is really bizarre because you're in a log ride, and I mean that in a really good way. But that launch goes, you know, 30 feet per second, so it's not slow. You hit that hill, it's kind of a perfectly timed hill, not really a lot of air time. It's a pretty calm hill, but the splashdown definitely got us. And we got a little wet on the actual launch itself, the little conveyor belt that they use. So we didn't have a lot of time to relax. We're actually coming up to this elevator lift, and this is gonna take us up to the 53-degree drop, which is the steepest drop on a log flume. All right, we're going up. There's nothing over here. You've got the elevator structure here. My goodness, you don't waste any time going up here. You can see everything from up here. It's amazing. We're going down this 53-degree drop. Here we go. Woo! Oh! Got a little bunny hill and into the splashdown. All right. I actually got more wet on the launch part than I did here. And it's kind of weird because you hit this run out and it just calms down. You're back to moseying around. It's pretty great. So just for reference, I'm 6'1". I'm not a small person. I fit in here just fine. I have some pretty big legs, so it's a little narrow, but it's really not bad at all. I'm perfectly comfortable, and it's great to see that they're adding more rides that provide a good level of accessibility for everybody, especially us kind of beefier folks who really like to eat. But all in all, this is a fantastic attraction. This thing's going to be so popular when it's hot outside, and I think when the boat's full, I'm riding by myself, but I think when the boat's full, you're going to get so freaking wet on this thing. I'm coming back into the station. All right, y'all, so the video you saw on ride, we were sitting in the front. I actually wrote again. I had these intrusive thoughts of like, I've heard you get wetter in the back, I'm gonna sit in the back. I can confirm substantially wetter in the back than in the front. So I don't know how the middle rows are, but you definitely get a little bit more of a jolt going down the last drop in the back like you do on a standard roller coaster, but you also get wetter. So I don't know, if you want to get really wet, that's the place to sit. The other thing I will say is I have my Crocs on, of course, but there's a little bit of water sloshing around in there, so your shoes do have the potential to get wet. Just keep that in mind. I'm not a big fan of wet shoes, so bringing the extra pair of Crocs before I rode was a great decision. So as we exit the ride, you come out this way, you can see the SeaWorld team having lots of fun. And you'll come right through this way. There's a few other little Easter eggs along the exit. Come down this rampway, and they've kept a lot of the pre-existing trees, which I think adds a lot to the ride. It'll also, like we said, keep things a little cooler. Airplane going by. But you remember these signs? We have a couple more. So number 4 is to focus on the wetlands. You know, rivers are important ecosystems that play a vital role in the environment. Lots of things to learn through this queue, which is really fun. And as we continue on, you run into the final sign, sign number 5, which is the ocean. And this shows you where the San Antonio River finishes its adventure and where we also finish our adventure with the ride. So as you come up this way, you are greeted by the photo booth. You can get your photos here if you so please. And of course, if you have a photo key already, you'll just come to one of these, scan it, it'll put that photo on there for you. And they have a really cool callback to the former log ride here. Get you a little nostalgic. If you're not too sure about being wet, they do have one of the dryers here. It does take card and Apple Pay, Google Pay, and of course if you rented a locker, you just come over this way, put in your code on the unit over here, and get your stuff. All right, everyone, that does it for this first look at Catapult Falls here at SeaWorld San Antonio. This thing is gonna be a hit. This is gonna be a really popular ride. It is so much fun. On top of being fun, it is just incredibly unique with the launch, the elevator lift. We've sat in the front, we sat in the back. Different experience in both spots. If you wanna get a little bit wetter, I'd sit in the back. You're also gonna get a little bit more airtime going down the hill. If you want that awesome view, of course, sit in the front. You might not get as wet though, but you're still gonna get wet, don't get me wrong. We want to give a huge thank you to the team here at SeaWorld San Antonio for inviting us out. It was a ton of fun, and I can't wait for y'all to ride Catapult Falls. Now, the ride officially opens on March 2nd, but starting this weekend, they do have past member previews. I encourage you to follow SeaWorld San Antonio on social media. Also go to their main website for the schedule of those previews. We thank y'all for watching. Take care. We'll see you on our next theme park adventure.